All right, we are heading live straight to Winning Ad Wednesday. I'm excited to be in front of you guys today. Of course, Brandon Northwick here, and what we got on the plate for you today is going to be how we were able to walk our e-comm client down from a really what would be a good cost, right? $8.62 is what he was seeing beforehand, to now being able to get his cost per acquisition down to $1.62. There's going to be a little bit of technical stuff we're going to go through today, but more importantly, it's going to be an overlining strategy. And then I'm also going to show you inside of the dashboard so that you can see how we set these up. And again, this isn't even an agency client of ours. This is actually a consulting client. So what we do is we meet every week with him, and he does all the work on his own, right? We teach him how to actually build out these profitable ad campaigns, and then he goes and does the work. So this is incredible, right? This isn't stuff that we're doing. This is stuff that a gentleman who came to us, it was back in November, and he had a couple of inventory issues. Right? So one thing that before we get into the actual strategy, if you're selling your own products, right? If you're manufacturing your own products, you are typically, well, if you're not manufacturing, you're going to be paying a manufacturer, right? And if you don't have that manufacturer relationship on point with the distribution center, in this case would be Amazon, there's going to be a lot of hiccups. My clients actually had to fly out to Vietnam to try and find new manufacturers. He's flown out to different parts within Japan and Asia. So there is a lot of traveling if you're trying to get the cost at the lowest while still maintaining quality, but also having the relationship with your manufacturer that could then get it to the distribution center on time and in the manner that's going to make your customers happy. A lot that goes on with e-comm. So if you're thinking about selling your products, just take into consideration that after you create them, there are some things that you could do to make yourself more in control. We have another e-comm client who sells high-end luxury footwear, right? And she actually houses her inventory herself. So she's got a lot of products sitting there inside of her house, but we're pushing it through, and she's actually distributing it through herself. So you have the kind of physical drop ship where you're going to be taking care of it yourself. Then you have the outsourced fashion where you're going to be hiring a manufacturer to then distribute it to your distribution center, which will then take care of your fulfillment. So a couple of different ways just to give you an idea about how e-comm works. Now, that we have that out the way, let's actually get into a little bit of the strategy, right? Because I want you to know that this isn't something that in the last 2 weeks we just were able to get it from. This is a process, right? We have been able to take them from a little over $8 cost per acquisition to $1.62, and we're going to show you how right now. So I'm going to start sharing my screen real quick, and we're going to get right into it. So a lot of folks are in business, and they think, well, you know what? I need money fast. I need this quick. I need this fast. And that's exactly how this gentleman came to us. Well, what stopped him in his tracks? We actually helped him sell so much of his units that what happened? He ended up having to run out the first time. So he actually had to put a hiatus on, moving the advertising because he couldn't have any inventory to sell. Then we actually got the inventory back up, and then he had a manufacturing problem, right? So you figure we've been working with this gentleman for since November, but we've only been really running ads for 4 months. So think about that, okay? And he's been able to really crush it. He was meeting us at, I think, selling right around between 30 and 40 units a day. We have him now selling 100 units a day or more, 100 or more units every single day. I just got to say that it's really cool. And we didn't do any of this. We just taught him how to do it himself. Same stuff you learn inside the academy. So right now we're going to get into client. He's an e-comm client, and what he's selling is reusable shopping bags, okay? Reusable shopping bags. I'm not sure if you guys are aware. I didn't know this until I had him as a client, but there's actually states that have plastic bans, right? Meaning like they can't even, they don't allow you to have plastic bags because of how it harms the environment. So he thought when he came to us that he would be focusing on those specific states because they would get him the best, they would already be interested in this, right? You can't have plastic bags, but actually what happens is that didn't perform as good as he thought it would. So we started to go a little bit outward, and I'm going to show you exactly how this happened, right? So the first round of testing was for 30 days. Okay, so this was back in November, okay? Back in November, we did a 30-day test. We ran 8 different ad sets. We ran 10 sets of copy using 3 different videos, 3 different multi-image ads, carousel ads, and across 10 headlines. Okay, that was the very first round of testing. That was the first 30 days. Now, he was making sales, and we, I think, brought him during that first 30 days, it was like down from like $8.12 down to like, it was right under like $7.50, right? It wasn't a big jump, but you figure 75 cents on an $8 profit margin, that's now you keeping $1 from everything that you sell. So to give you a little bit of a number idea, he came to us and he was selling $34 reusable grocery bags, a package of 5 that you're gonna bring to the grocery store with you to help solve the pollution problem, the plastic problem, right? Well, what happened is his profit margins on that $34 product were about $8, right? It was literally right around $8. So what he was facing when he came to us was a very good problem. He was breaking even. He wasn't losing money, right? He was actually breaking even. His profit margin was $8 and he would spend $8.12 to acquire that buyer. So you got to think, okay, would I be negative 12 cents and be happy about it? No, but you got something that you know can work, and he knew that. So when we started working together, we had to go through this testing period, and we had to get his cost per acquisition down to under $2, right? That's our first goal was under $4, and then it was under $3, and then it was under $2. Now, I'm not sure if we can get it any lower than where it's at right now doing what he's doing. So what I'm going to provide to you at the end of this is what we could still do to make this better. Okay, so think about this. The first round of testing, 30 days, 10 sets of copy and all that good stuff. The second round of testing now, we did 8 different ad sets. So we have 8 different demographics that we're targeting in round 1, or the first 8. Then we have 8 different, completely different demographics, right? Completely different demographics. And we're going to be testing the 3 same videos, 3 same multi-image carousel ads, and the 10 same headlines. So now what we're doing is we're testing our audience, right? We know that we're getting results that are okay with this one particular audience, but we could do better. That's why we brought it down from it was, like I said, 812 to about 750. Well, what happens next? In the third round of testing, well, what we had to do was take the winning ad sets now from number 1 and number 2, right? So the winning ad sets from the first 2 rounds, and then we wanted to match that with the winning sets of ad copy. And then we wanted to match that with the winning videos, and then we wanted to match that with the winning multiple image ads. Okay, also with the winning headline. So you can see that it took about 60 days for us to even start refining this. This is where, if you're doing client work, you've got to set expectations. You got to let people know that wanting sales today can happen, but that's not the goal of your process. Your process is to make sure they have sales every day, not just today. We don't want that Band-Aid mentality. And a lot of business owners, they come in here with this quick fix mentality. Well, I've had 13 million people in this world who want to buy my stuff. Why can't I sell more? And so we have to understand it's a starting process, right? It's a building on process. So what we have now is after the 2 rounds, 60 days, we've got something pretty cool to look at, man. We've got enough data to where now we can start to refine this and build out an even higher performing ad set or demographic. So when we have now our understanding that it's going to be, let's say, out of the 16 ad sets, right, we have 8 ad sets here and 8 ad sets here. We've tested 16 different audiences in 60 days. Now, again, the higher the ad budget, the shorter time it's going to take. During these 60 days, I think he invested close to $4,000 or $5,000, okay? So he was doing about between $2,000 and $2,500 a month from the beginning, okay? So think about that. If you're doing less than that, then the amount of tests that you can have will take you longer. It's just the way that it is. And if you're the kind of person that's thinking, well, I want it faster than what I can actually get it, your expectations are going to be skewed and you're never going to feel like advertising's in your favor. But if you come with the right expectations, you're going to see that after 16 ad sets and $4,000 of testing, we now can move on to the third round. Right now we have an identity. We know who we're marketing to and who actually wants it. Right? Because our market, who we want to market to, might be completely different than who actually wants our stuff. I hear it all the time. Well, my market doesn't like this. Well, they wouldn't really respond to this. And then I'm like, have you tried it? And they're like, well, you know, not really, but I've heard. This is not a guessing game, right? We're surgeons here, right? So there's no like, well, I feel it would work well, or I think. We need to know. We're surgeons. We're precision doctors. So we can't go into how bad would it be if you went into a doctor's office and they were like, well, where's the cut going to be? Where are you going to start cutting me open, doc? Where's the surgery going to take? They're like, well, I think it might be around your chest, maybe. You'd be like, I'm out of here, right? We have to be precision doctors when we're going through this. After that third round, which is now after the 90th day, we now can move on to the 4th round of testing. So you're going to see that's where it brings us today inside of our Winning Ad Wednesday. I'm going to actually break down for you the last 14 days, and you're going to see all of the ad sets. You're going to see everything that we did. I'm going to walk you through the advertising. I'm also going to share with you in a second the major changes that we made before you actually see the ads. The reason why is because we want to get an idea about what are we looking for to change. How can you right now take this information and start to better or get better performing ads for your e-comm site or for your clients' products, right? So what we want to do next is, if you can see here, one thing I do want to add is in the 4th round of testing, you're going to see it says dynamic behind the ad sets. We started to take exactly what we found worked, and now we're going to put it behind a dynamic ad set and test these all at once. Okay, so I'm going to share with you in a second what it looks like. But if you guys haven't tested these dynamic ads yet for specifically people who are selling products, I'm telling you, it is incredible right now. It does great things. Even if you're selling services, it does great things. But for this specific instance, if you're thinking about, well, how do I sell more of my stuff at a, easy, I shouldn't say easier. How can I sell more of my stuff in a way that Facebook will show more of me to more of my audience, right? That will actually purchase. Using the dynamic ads following this round of testing will help you do that. First round, second round, third round, fourth round, okay? And you're thinking about, imagine, it's not like the 30 days is based and predicated on the amount that they have in their budget. Okay, so if you're thinking that you're gonna get a 30-day round one on a $500 per month budget, you might have to, your round one will probably take 2 months, right? Your round one will probably take 2 months for you to get a full round of testing. Okay, from what we've seen, to get a complete overview, it's gonna take between $2,000 and $4,000 of investing into advertising to get a complete test. So that's where you wanna let your clients know, look, it's gonna take $2 to $4 grand before we can get what we need to start to really make this thing work and scale. And it's not like money going into your company's pocket, it's money going into purchasing data. And this is why I want to spend a little bit of time just making sure I drive this point home. If you have false expectations about how long it's going to take or how much resources it's going to take to get data, you're going to look back at advertising, or the person that you're hiring to do the advertising, or their client's going to look at you if you don't explain this right, and they're going to go, well, I don't understand. And you don't want to set false expectations from the very beginning, right? So when we're looking at, let's see, JL says, so you tested it first, saw what worked, then did dynamic. Does it matter which order? If you have a larger ad budget, I would do it just this way. If you have a smaller ad budget, you're gonna wanna do multiple dynamic ads, but you're still gonna have multiple ad sets ran at the same time. So in this instance, we can launch 8 different ad sets at one time for a certain amount per day and still be within his ad budget, right? He was willing to invest about $100 per day. So we could put 10 to 15 bucks a day towards each ad set for an entire 30 days and see what worked. Then we can do that same thing for the next month. Now, if you have a shorter ad budget, then you might want to do the dynamic side. But again, we're still in a testing phase with that. So I can't give you a definite yes or no, which one would work better. But I know that for the larger ad budgets, if you have the room to do what we're doing here, round 1, round 2, round 3, then take the winners and put that into a dynamic ad set, that is seeming to work very, very well. And by large, I don't mean anything over, crazy amounts, but you do want to have enough to where you can fully test. I hear sometimes from people, they're like, I put in, $50 and I didn't get anything back. And you're like, okay, well, there's a million people in the world, or there's, it's crazy the expectations people have. It does suck. Putting in money and not getting a return sucks. Not going to ever try and sell you on the other aspect of that, right? But we also know that being an entrepreneur sometimes sucks, right? And we would like to have ads that return 100% of our money every single time. But I'd also like to, have a six-pack and kids that listen. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't. It might not happen the way that we want it to all the time. So we have to come in here with an actual, real expectations. So if we're looking at the 4th round of testing now, that's where we're at today. Now the major changes that we did, this is where he was running straight to Amazon when we had met. He was like, look, I have a website, but I don't really want to run it to my website. I want to run my ads directly to Amazon. Well, we did that for a little bit, and you could see that we got his, well, in a second, you'll see that we were able to get his cost down from about $8 to, I think when we actually switched to the website was in the 2nd round. And at the end of the 2nd round, so the 3rd round and 4th round are straight to his website after he's taken our recommendations. The first couple months, the first 2 rounds, he would not budge. He was like, look, I want to run it straight to Amazon. Even though he knew the cons to that. We can't retarget people. We can't give them more information if they want it. We can't get them to contact you. There's really no control. You're just sending random, targeted traffic though, through a link click campaign. You can't even create a custom conversion from that, right? So I shared with him all these cons, and he still ran with it for about 60 days on, like, fighting me with the resistance, saying, no, I'm not gonna do that. Well, what happened? We got it down to, I think it was right around $5. It was right around altogether about $5. And that was the ceiling. That was the plateau. We just couldn't get it to get under $5 running it straight to Amazon. So I was sharing with him that maybe it's time for us to go back to the beginning idea. Okay, so he finally let go and he said, you know what, I'm gonna trust you guys, right? Which is the best thing that you could hear when you're working with somebody is to say, you know what, I'm finally gonna let go of the ego. I'm gonna go ahead and trust you to do what I'm paying you to do. Still very hard for some people to let go of that. So when you're thinking about how you can make this, the first switch I would do is if you're selling products on Amazon, don't run it straight to Amazon, right? Don't run it straight to Amazon. Run it to your website so you can actually build up that number one, Google is going to be able to see people coming to you, and that's going to help, right? Because you're going to have your Google Tag Manager on there, right? We're going to get into later trainings in that inside the academy. But you're also going to have your Facebook pixel, right? So you're going to be able to retarget those people. And then you're going to hopefully have some type of lead magnet or some type of offer that can capture an email so that if they don't decide to purchase right then, you could still offer them something of value to get them on your list. Then we have enough going through that offer on your website to make sure that they know they can get a deal and a special deal so they can purchase. So what we did is we switched it from Amazon to his website, helped him reconstruct his website so it was actually set up to sell, and then we went through and pushed them to Amazon. Well, we also then started ad emojis. He was coming to us and he was showing us his ad copy, which we love, right? And I was sharing with him that, that bland vanilla, way of typing and your copy it's not going to get the attention that you want. You can't sit there and say buy, 50% off, Amazon's best rated seller. Like people are like, well, okay, what the hell? I don't really care about that. You have to add some flavor to this, right? And so you're going to see how we added some flavor by adding some emojis. You could see on number 5, we leveraged his company mission. So instead of just having a buy my stuff, I'm number 1 ranked on Amazon, right? That's not going to get somebody to care about you unless that person is like one of those folks who are like Amazon shoppers who only purchases products with great reviews, which there are people out there. But what about the other 95% of the market, right? So what we want to do is now start to add a little more flavor, start to mention your company mission, add the emojis. We started to test 20, 30 second, 60 second, and 90-second video links. And these videos, just to give you an idea, were demonstrational videos. So they were how to use the product. And it was sometimes with overlay, meaning words on the screen, like popping up and saying, hey, step 1, open this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this, right? There were others where it was just a screen share or a slideshow. There were others without overlay and just a voiceover, right? So you had all these different types of demonstrational videos, all these different lengths of demonstrational videos so that we could see what's happening. His highest converting one right now, I just had a meeting with him yesterday, was being viewed. It was a 60-second video that was being viewed 97% of the way through. He looked at me and was like, that's got to be a mistake. I'm like, I thought so. It was crazy. But for you to capture an entire person's attention for a full minute on Facebook, that's like impossible, right? That's like hitting the gold mine. You usually get 3 to 10 seconds from somebody. That's it. And then they're like, oh, on to the next, on to the next. And so for him to have a demonstrational video that's going to hold attention for 60 seconds, that shows that people want to know how it works. And they're actually interested in it. So then we got to give more of that to the market in a different kind of way, right? So that's what we're working on now. So then we want to go on to the next piece and think, okay, well, the major changes is he wasn't never creating custom audiences. So he never had a custom audience of people who would engage with his page in the last 7 days, 14 days. He never had anybody who had been buyers, right? Because what sucks is with running your actual distribution center through Amazon, you don't actually get their email addresses. They keep those, right? Because they handle all the customer fulfillment. So if somebody wants a return, they return it to Amazon, not to my client's home. So you gotta weigh your options on what you want to do because everything comes at a cost. You wanna run it to Amazon and have a distribution center fulfill your orders for you? Well, that with Amazon is going to cost you a little bit of profit, plus it's gonna cost you the ability to actually follow up with them on a automated fashion with your follow-up and post-sale purchase. So you have to really think about what are you willing to give up based on who you're going to use as your fulfillment center. And then we started to create those custom audiences, right? So when we have now people who are engaged with his page in the last 7 days, people who watched his ad in the last 7 days, we can now put them through an assembly line, put them into a custom audience that now says, I'm not going to show you ad 1 anymore because you engaged with my ad in the last 7 days. So you're going to get moved to custom audience number, let's say B, right? Letter B. And now you're going to be able to see my new ad with my new offer. You see how that works? New video, new copy, new offer gets shown to only somebody who's engaged with the first one. And you can now rotate them every 7, 4, you can create custom audiences as often or as frequent as you want. Now what you're doing is you're pushing the algorithm outwards, right? That's what we were able to do with him. So instead of him only being shown to 1% of the million people that are interested in his product that Facebook deems the highest successful to convert, we're now going to say, look, let me create multiple buckets, these little custom audiences, and we're going to create assembly lines so that when somebody views this and they engage but they don't purchase, let's show them this video. And then let's show them this video. And then let's show them this video, right? And all these videos are going to have different ad copy and different reasons, different trigger points on why they should buy. Some of them have a coupon code. Some of them don't. Some of them are more about the 5-star reviews. Some of them are about eco-friendly bags. Some of them are about organizing. So you have all these different reasons why someone's going to purchase. And if they don't purchase here, don't show them the same ad over and over again. It's just ridiculous, right? You get shown, like, now again, the smaller the audience, the higher the frequency score. But when you're dealing with somebody in this market the way he is, he's dealing with the entire USA. So we should not have a problem with moving people from one to another without getting the frequency scores too high. Pretty cool stuff. And he was never leveraging his mission into his copy. He was afraid to do that. He was afraid that it wouldn't be relevant, that no one would really care about that, which I think is the number one holding back point from so many business owners today. They're like, well, no one really cares about what my mission is or what my company wants to accomplish. And that's actually the opposite, right? They want to know who they're supporting, especially in a situation like this where he's helping save the environment, right? We got to be able to know that that's a big mission. If you want to help reduce the pollution to 0% inside the US, right? People might look at you and go, that's crazy. But he can now look back at them and go, yeah, but I'm starting. I've done something. I'm on my way to helping this, the world become a better place. And so the people who fall into that, who want to support that, guess what? They're going to buy just because. They're going to go, you know what? That's absolutely right. I'm going to buy this. Even if they never use them, right? They're going to buy it because they understand they're supporting the bigger mission. Now what we're looking at is more major changes. We went ahead and, like I told you, we started to help him tweak his website. If you don't have the skills behind the copy skills, right, to get the website converting, no amount of advertising is going to work. No amount of advertising is going to work because the message on the website and the feel and the energy and the flow, you've got to be able to have that lined up. And you have to be willing as the owner to let go of whatever you thought was going to work and let the market speak to you. If the market tells you that it sucks, it's not an attack on you, right? What it is your ability now to make sure that you've listened and you've taken that advice and now you can start to convert more people because that's what they want, right? That's what they want. And they're more important than you are because you're not buying your own product, okay? So when we think about just moving this conversion rate on his website from 1.5% to 5.2%, imagine what that did for his income, right? He's making now with the new changes, right? He's now making 3 times more money. That's huge. And just making a different switch. Right now, again, he is going through, and we're still going through, and there's one tool you could use right now called Hotjar. It's one that we've used for a while, and it's a heat mapping site, right? And what it does, it allows you to track the visitors on your website so you can see what buttons they're clicking. You could actually monitor their time on your website so that you could see and actually watch them in live time. If they're scrolling, if they're stopping, if they're bouncing off, what buttons are they clicking, where they're clicking at. And what you can do now is take that data and start to architect your website based on that performance, okay? And what we did is we did that same thing. We took that same data and we were able to now give him a new structure of his website that then brought the conversions from 1.5 to 5.2. And yes, it's you set up your free, they have a paid and free accounts. I think free accounts are up to like 1,000 visitors a month or something like that. But you can go ahead and get your free account set up at Hotjar. And yeah, you just set up your website, place that piece of code on your whatever pages you want to monitor, and now you're good to go. Oh, it is nice, man. It makes like every time I show that to a client who is trying to convert their website, it's incredible because a lot of folks will say, well, my website converts just fine. It's the traffic. And then we'll say, okay, well, before we do any changes, let's install this Hotjar so we can see if it's really the traffic or if it's your website. Because if we run a bunch of people here and it tanks, it's your website. Right? And we know that a lot of folks, well, I paid 10 grand for this from a web developer. A lot of web developers, man, I've seen them. I've spent a lot of money on websites that I don't have access to because they were doo-doo. So you got to think about being able to really hone in on the website or the landing page, wherever it is that they're going, right? Because that is going to be key. And for e-comm users, you're going to want to have the sales be from your store on your website. You don't want to run them through, other sites, other platforms like ClickFunnels. Not really going to work. We have clients right now that try and do that. And we've told them, look, we got to get your website going. And again, the website now costs a lot more money because of the edits and the changes and the coding and all that stuff. So you have to make sure that you've got your website on point. Now, we also updated the photos. He was using photos he'd been in business for about 2 years, I think. And he was using the same photos that he opened up with. I had to push him and push him and push him to get us some new damn images. It was, it's crazy, but we had to get these new images. What happened? Boom, cost started going down. I'm going to show you his cost per click right now. It's incredible. It's incredible what he's paying to get people to his website right now. So when we look at everything, photos matter. Photos matter big time, big time. Outdated photos like it shows here, or not having new ones, they will hurt the cost. And then again, he started to create demonstrational videos, and then we use them in the right way. So we don't want to just have images, right? We want to have videos where you can demonstrate your product. We have a client here, Zach. He was on the call, I think it was last Thursday. So if you want to check that out, we walked him through some changes on his e-comm site, right? Well, what happens is the demonstrational, if we were able to see a video, which has a video of YouTube on it, right? And if we had more videos, or if he had more videos in his advertising, that's going to help when they get to the site to not have to wonder how it works, right? And so those demonstrational videos of him pouring it and putting the rocks and doing this and making sure it's all wet and going through the guide and having the whole thing as an actual demonstration is going to help increase the cost, or help lower the cost and increase the conversions. So that's what we want to do. We want to make sure that you're focusing on the demonstration side if your product needs it. Now, if you're selling socks, probably you don't need to demonstrate how to put on socks, right? But if you have a whiskey box, if you have a reusable grocery bag, if you have products that need to be shown, and typically 95% of the products out there that are being created or sold need to be demonstrated. And if you're selling other people's products right now as an affiliate marketer or something like that, and you're looking to go ahead and say, well, how do I demonstrate somebody else's product? Well, you purchase it and then you demonstrate it. Well, I can't there's a lot of excuses why we can't do things. But if you are really looking to grow and build up that community vibe so people could see that you're really there for them, you've got to learn to demonstrate what you could do or what your product can do. I promise that's going to help. Now, we have the things that can be done to lower the CPA even more. This is what I say for last, because this is a touchy subject, right? If I lose some live folks here, I am sorry. I am sorry, because this is the touchiest subject for so many business owners. Doesn't matter e-comm or not. I found this to be like the dagger in the heart. People are like, well, I guess I just shouldn't do it then, or whatever it may be. Your costs are going to be dependent on the amount of goodwill you have in the marketplace. Doesn't matter if you sell socks, doesn't matter if you sell carburetors, doesn't matter if you sell high-end services, right? For him to get his costs even lower than $1.62 per acquisition, he's going to need to start creating the funnel stacking process, right? And we can't take over for our consulting clients, and we can't build out stuff and use up a percentage of the ad budget from our agency clients unless they give us the okay. Right now, we can only share with them the pros and the cons, but ultimately it's their business, so it's their decision on what they want to do. My job is to make sure that they understand the pros and the cons of each. So when I sit there and I share with them that the funnel stacking phase is going to be where you're going to generate a majority of your new buyers, they go, well, how do we do that? I say, okay, well, you got to create the blog post. You have to create the videos. You're basically going to create a bunch of information that's going to educate your market on the problem that they're not aware of. There's so many people out there right now, and using him as an example, that are looking to support the pollution in the world, but they have no idea about reusable grocery bags. I've seen them before, but I've never thought about reusable grocery bags. But if I were to be in a state of supporting the world, to help the world's pollution, I see something about an article coming in about helping the world's pollution, right? 6 things you could do today to improve your carbon footprint. 25 top checklist that the most, eco-friendly businesses are doing right now, and how you could jump on board too. Right? You have all these different blog posts, articles, giveaways, PDFs. You have all these things right here that could start to build up audience awareness, right? Instead of focusing on the small percentage of people that want to give you money right now, no matter what happens, because they're already actively searching, right? What happens to the other 99% of your market? They literally go by the wayside because of the amount of work that it takes to build this out. And if you don't have the time, then you pay somebody else to do it. That's what I always say, right? Who cares about if it's you or somebody else doing it? It needs to be done. And that funnel stacking phase one is going to be continuous. We're just going to set up custom audiences to move them from phase one to phase two. Once they show enough interest and they've been through enough of the videos or enough of the blog posts or whatever it is, now we can start to put them through funnel stacking phase two, which is now where those checklists come in for them to opt in for. It's where the free giveaways come around for them to exchange their name and their email for. Because now we have an audience, right? We have people who have read your stuff. They're aware of their problem now. Now they might not have purchased yet, right? But that's okay because that's actually normal. They're just now building up the awareness about how they can help reduce pollution, how they can help become more organized, how they can help do X or Y without Z, whatever it is that your product helps them solve. Then after those funnels are built out and we're running traffic to those people who have now watched your videos and engaged with your posts, and we're starting to collect leads, now guess what happens? Let's start to retarget that audience, right? From phase two to, retarget phase two. There we go, TWO. Audience with the current campaigns that are profitable. So now we know that if you already are running sales campaigns, because usually business owners can't help themselves. They're like, look, okay, I'll start doing this, but I want to run a majority of my business here, majority of my marketing budget here. It's going to force you to build out the sales campaigns first, just the way that it is. So you're going to have already some data, right? You're already going to know which of these ads are performing well to your clients or to your own product or site. Well, once you have that and you're like, okay, well, I know that I've been making some sales here. In this case, how he was making them for like $8. Once we start building out this phase, you're going to see the costs just go down dramatically. So what we were able to do based on what he's asking is get it down to $1.62. And that's without funnel stacking phase one or phase two. He has he doesn't have any brand awareness and he has no lead generation funnel. And we were still able to get it down to 162. And the reason why is because he had money to test, right? So again, it comes down to what are you gonna sacrifice? Everything comes at a cost. So what we wanna do is look at what is, oh, here we go. Next thing is run seasonal promotions. Mother's Day, 4th of July, St. Patrick's Day, Arbor Day, Earth Day, right? Take your mother or son to work day, right? Who cares about what day it is, but start to get into the trending holidays and start to build campaigns around that. Run them for a week long, run them for 2 weeks long, run them for a month long, depending on how it is, and start to leverage the seasonal promotions that people are constantly buying from anyway. So you have all different ways now and avenues, and he's not doing that yet. We're actually getting him to work on that for this upcoming Mother's Day. He's working on some stuff right now. I know it's like 10 days away, so we'll see if he pulls through with that. And there's also a, what else? What's the next one? I think about 4th of July coming up or something in, I think probably 4th of July. So we'll probably start planning that one out next. And next is create more copy tests to help trigger other emotional buying points using longer copy. This is something that he was fighting too as well. And if you're thinking, well, the longer the copy, who's really going to read that? On Facebook particularly, it's great. Long form ad copy, in our opinion, I mean, in our data and what we've seen, long form ad copy performs the best. It gets the highest click-through rate, right? And it builds this just trust in this relationship before they ever click through. So instead of trying to build a relationship inside the funnel, getting them to leave Facebook and get inside your funnel, why not try and build the relationship on Facebook? It just makes sense, right? And you can't build that relationship if you say, hey, buy my stuff, check out here how, right? It just doesn't work like that. What we want to do is say, hey, look here, are you a mother of two who's looking to become more organized and save the planet all in the same time? Wouldn't that make you sound like Wonder Woman? Well, here is what you can do to start building that out or start looking for this, or here's what you're looking for, here's what I got, and go into an actual story. And then go into the feeling of the emotion, the buying emotion. Why would somebody purchase who's in that same time frame? And that longer copy, now guess what you've done? You can actually shrink that up and take segments of that and build out short form pieces of ads, right? Short form copies based on that longer piece. So now you do what we call, you eat the frog first, right? Do that long form copy first, and then create smaller pieces of copy from that long piece. It's going to be very helpful for you. I promise you guys. Now what's left to do? Scale. He was asking me yesterday, he's like, okay, Brandon, so what do we do next? And I said, well, now when we relaunch this new ad, when I meet him next week, what we're going to do is we're going to relaunch the ad, but we're going to relaunch it at 50 or $100 a day. So right now he's been putting up about $100 a day, but he's been doing it between 10 and $20 per ad set. Well, now that we have these ad sets defined, we have the headlines defined, we have the images and the videos defined, we now can go ahead and say, let's start this new power ad, right? But let's start it at a higher dollar per day because it's easier to scale when you start out at a higher budget. And the reason why is because Facebook only really allows you to scale up at about 10 to 15% of your daily budget every single day. And that will prevent you from breaking your ad. If you try and go from a $10 per day ad and you're like, okay, well, this one's performing the best. I want to make it to where now I know for a fact this is the best. So I'll put in $50 a day. And you change it in that ad set from $10 a day to $50 a day, your stuff's most likely going to break. You're going to be wondering, why did my costs go up? Why isn't everything staying the way that it was? Well, you've jacked up the algorithm. When you set up the ad campaign, the algorithm is set to show your $10 per day ad to those people. And when you make that big jump, it gargles the algorithm and it doesn't know what to do. So it just breaks down, right? So it's crazy, right? And so what we want to do now is make sure we don't do that. And the only way to prevent that is to do really one of three things. Either you have that one winning ad set at $10 per day, right? And you end up slowly increasing that at 10 to 15 cents. So you make it from $10 one day to $11.50. Then the next day you take it up to 13. Next day you take it up to 16, and you do that slowly. Or you duplicate that ad set, right, at the same $10 per day. So you have ad set A at $10, duplicate that ad set at $10, duplicate that ad set at $10, duplicate that ad set at $10. So you have that same ad set running at $10 per day, except for now you have that same ad set running 4 times or 5 times or 10 times. Okay, that's another way to do it. A third way to do it would be to kill, right? Pause that ad set that you know is working, pause it, because you want to relaunch it at a larger per day budget. And when you do that, now Facebook's going to go, okay, well, this person's putting in $50 per day into an ad set that they already know is going to work. And so we're going to keep the cost there relevant. And now you could scale up to 50 per day and move it from 50 to 55, right? 55 to 62, 62 to 75, right? And keep going through that way. So that'll be really, really beneficial for you guys. And so let's get into real quick. I just want to show you how it's all set up. Let's get into, where's it at? Right here. Okay. So you can see real quick that out of 69 ad sets. Okay. So we have 69 ad sets that have been created, like I told you, since we go back November 1st, right? So since November 1st, since we started working with the gentleman, we've had 69 different ad sets created. Now this is really over about 4 months time. And you figure inside here, the ones that are checked, these are the ones that have been ran in the last 14 days. Okay. So now we're looking at the 17 ad sets in the last 14 days that have been running. Okay. And now you could see, now look at the cost here. The per result is, where is it at? Right. Okay. So website visitors, right? Some of these are video views, right? Some of them are website visitors. And so what we're looking at is the website visitors. These 3-second views is him still trying to test if video views are going to still get him conversions. And what we've seen is that when you test it for video views, you're going to get more video views than you are conversions. He just wants to see that for himself, which is totally understandable. So he's still running some with this video view conversion. What we want to do is focus on the ones that say the website. You could see here, 11 cents per website visitor, 20 cents per website visitor, 16 cents, 13 cents, 8 cents, right? And then if we go down, you could see that it was, look, 95 cents. When he first met us, look, 95, or this is back in when we first started When we first started phase 4, look, he was still getting some at 95 cents, but then he was also getting some at 26 cents, right? So these are still right before we start phase 4, right? Then you look here and we look at inside the phase 4, we're looking at now, 24 cents, 15 cents, 21 cents, 24 cents, all the way down to, I think our lowest is 11 right now. Yesterday it was at, 8 right here. Boom. That's where it was right here. 8 cents. Now, I don't know why this one's off. He must have turned this one off for himself. But you figure 8 cents right here. Now, imagine if you have an 8 cents cost per website visitor and your website is converting buyers into at 5%, right? 5.2%. You multiply 8 times your 20, right? Times 5% to make the whole 100% pie. So what's 8 cents times 20, right? You're looking at $1.60. So $1.60 is what he's paying for Well, the 0.01 though, that's the 3-second views, right? So that's the 3-second views. We got to be careful to know that that's not a cost per click to his website. That's only for there now. He's okay, yeah. Now I'm trying to get it down as low as I can underneath the 8 cents, but this is where we lead back to in the beginning stage where I'm sharing with him, look, you want to get it lower than 8 cents? What we have to do is we have to build up a funnel stacking phase. We get a funnel stacking phase of people who are interested, and we could lower that 8-cent cost. Right? Does it take work? Yes. Will it take time? Yes, but you're losing more money over the long run by not doing it. So it's always a good move. And then we have, there we go. Oh, 7 cents. Yeah, look at that. See, I don't know why he's turned these off. Again, look, 6 cents. Look at that Earth Day video. Oh, that's probably because Earth Day is already gone, I imagine. So these two, oh, perfect example. When he started doing the Earth Day, I don't know exactly when that was, but look at this, 6 and 7 cents. 6 and 7 cents. I mean, when you could match an actual holiday to it, right, or a season to it, plus you now have your winning copy, you're good. So let's go ahead and let's just take a look at one of these real quick. Let's take a look at this one. So real quick, let's just see how this whole thing looks. Facebook post with comments, okay. So, come on, we have this, okay? So look at this. This invention will change the way you shop for groceries. See how this product saves time, steps, and energy, while at the same time saving thousands of plastic bags. This is a breakthrough for me to see from our clients. If I were to show you the ads that he was running back in November, crazy, right? And no excuse. I mean, like, no, I'm not bashing or anything. It's just he wasn't informed about how to do this. He just knew he was a product of that. He created a product. He wanted to sell them using Facebook ads. So he set him up the best way that he could, started to get a little bit of some results and said, you know what, I need to help. I need some help to really make this work. I know this could work. And that's the natural process people usually take. Well, what we found is just by adding, like I said, look, added a couple of emojis, and then boom, he made sure that this video now he's following. If you want to see how to do that, there's an app called Vont, V-O-N-T, that will help you put overlays over your videos. One thing to watch out for, though, is he's paying more right now for this, which is weird, right? If this would have been, where's that? This one's at 13 cents. I can guarantee you that if we reran this and we reran it to where it did not have the overlay, right? Because right now Facebook's saying there's too much text in your image, right? So it's actually hurting him in his reach. So he's paying more per CPM than he would if he did not have that overlay. Okay, so right now, Facebook's really getting tight on how much text you have in your image or in your videos. So Vont, V-O-N-T, is great, but what you want to do is make sure that there's at least one screenshot, one thumbnail of no overlay, right? So if you have to start if I were to restart this, right, what I told him to do is either start the least trolley bags help you avoid plastic bags, start that overlay 5 seconds in, and then what you can see is that, or stop it 5 seconds before it ends. What you want is at least one thumbnail with no overlay. You could use that thumbnail as the image when you're setting up your video ad, and Facebook will not deem this as too much text. So you can still have text as overlay. You just got to make sure you have at least a small enough window to capture a thumbnail so that you could show that to Facebook and say, hey, look, my preview image, they analyze the video. Oh yeah, they analyze the video text. Absolutely. Absolutely. So you got to make sure that when you go through this, you have that set up, or else you're going to get a notification saying your Facebook ad could be reaching more people, right? I'm not sure if you've seen that response or that notification from you before or to you before, but that's what you'll see. You'll get a notification in your thing up here, right? That says notification from Facebook, and it'll say your ad could be performing better because there's too much text in the image. And that won't happen if you use a thumbnail that does not have that text, okay? And so think about it. Look, headline, organized, washable, durable. Look, only 8 people and 3 shares. Not a lot of engagement on this one, but there is plenty when we look at, let's say, I think it might be this one. Here we go. Another version of the copy, just so you can see how many different versions he's created, because it does take time to test. It's words that we're making. That's it. You redo the words. Look, different video, right? Wouldn't it be nice to make grocery shopping easier and quicker, right? See why this product's getting hundreds of 5-star reviews. Right, and then he goes, now available on sale at Ralph's. Okay, so this was when he was running to his local market, right? So this is people who are within 2 miles of the Ralph's location that he is actually inside of, because he's inside of personal stores, right? He's inside of actual stores, and he's selling them on Amazon. So you can see he's trying to drive more people to those Ralph's, because if he could sell more inside Ralph's, guess what Ralph's does? They open up more locations, more what's that, space on the shelf, right? More shelf space for them, which now is going to be a big deal. So then if we look at, let's look at another one, or let's see yeah, because that one is only, so look at this, local business. Look, 22, 9 shares, right? One more extra comment, and look, boom, she tagging people. Like, look at this. Like, he can come in here now, and this is what I'm teaching him to do now, is to come back here and reach out to these people. Hey, Rick, Yvette, I'm still wondering, have you gotten yours yet? And she says yes. So I reply back and say, awesome, Yvette, glad you're a customer. You know what? If you have any questions, reach out to me here anytime. Respond back to Annie. Respond back to Linda. So these are things that people are forgetting about because they're like, well, they're ads. They should run on their own. The engagement here is going to be huge because when somebody sees that you've responded to these comments, 2 things happen. Number 1, other people who visit this post are going to see that you're real and that you care, which will help create more of a conversation from those people who are a little on the fence about giving you a message. Then the other thing is going to help you with your actual organic reach. You can see here that he's paid for 3,300 people to see this, and the organic's 248. If he didn't get these 9 shares, that organic would be like 4, right? So again, you want to be able to create this in a way that's going to be shared so that when Facebook sees this as something of relevance, they're like, oh, this is entertaining. This is great. I'm going to show this to more people. Here, let me give it to more people who would like to share this. And they're going to do the work for you. Let the algorithm be optimized to work with you, right? And if we look at another one, let's look at another one. We have, where's that? That's probably the biggest one right there with the 64. Here's another one. I wonder if this is the same copy. Yep, same copy there. So I'm trying to find another one of the copy. Let's see, BuzzDig. I think this is another one. Another video. Nope, same one. What about this one? Work with me here, work with me here. Oh, carousel, let's see this one. Okay, so I'll show you the carousel ads now. And these ones in the very end did not perform as well as the videos, right? They didn't. The videos perform better than the carousels. And so if you see here, here's his carousel. Now again, here's probably why, right? Because look at the images. And we'd worked through this, but when you look at the images, they're a little cluttered, right? And images are everything. Images are everything, okay? So when you're thinking about what is it that we're gonna do, or what is it that you're gonna do to get these sales going and just racking in and being able to just knock them out at 100 units a day, right? 100 units a day right now, and this is amazing. In order to do that, you have to be able to put in that money for testing. And then to get the cost down even more, you're looking at creating your funnel stacking process. That's why we will stand strong in the value pitch close and the VPC method for as long as we live. When you create that value up front, gives you the opportunity to pitch and makes it so much easier for them to purchase from you in the back end. So you're going to see here, just to go through a couple of them, that you can see how different, right, each one of these are, right? And you're going to now have the opportunity to start selling more of your stuff. So that's where we want to make sure. I'll go ahead and give you a little recap real quick, right, which is the first round of testing, 30 days. And look how many different ad sets within the first 60 days. 16 different ad sets we tested, and we didn't test them for $5. We didn't test them for $10. And if the lower the budget, the longer the time it's going to take to collect the data. So if you don't have patience and you don't have a budget, you really aren't going to have the right expectations for your ads. And that is what we want to match up today, is your expectations, as well as being able to support the goals that you need for your business. So there's nothing wrong with having a low ad. I started out with, I think it was $200 or $300 a month. Then I started putting in 500, then it was 1,000, then it was 2, then it was 3, then it was 5. And once you start getting to that point where every month you could start, or not every month, every year, right? Or every couple months, you can start to increase that by testing different elements and scaling up, testing different elements and scaling up. Now you're going to be able to provide your clients or yourself with the security of being able to turn ad dollars into profits, right? That's all we want to do, turn your advertising dollars into profits. If we can't multiply income, we're not in a job for ourselves. But the marketing side, for the marketing to work, the product has to be good. For the marketing to work, the service has to be good. For marketing to work, the mindset of the business owner has to be set with the right expectations, or else you're going to put too much pressure on yourself, and the amount of work that's going to take to get the results you want, it's not going to be there. The motivation is going to decline. You're going to be wondering, why can't I get money? I had 5,000 people visit my page, over the month. Why didn't anybody purchase? Well, it's probably not the marketing. It's probably your product. Right? It's probably the service you're selling. It's probably the way you're wrapping the actual offer up or the product up in your offers, right? So he's saying, here we go. So he says, if I intend to do $5 per day for 5 days, that means I'm spending $25 for that week. Would it be okay to do a 24-hour 25 campaign to collect data? It would be, yes. But now you got to make sure that are the people that you're marketing to online that day? We don't know. Every millisecond that we're on right now, people are coming on and off Facebook. The inventory is changing. Sometimes it's up, sometimes it's down, sometimes it's the same, but you're always going to have people logging on and logging off. So that's why I do recommend, if you only have a $5 per day budget for 5 days, run it for those 5 days. And then do the analytical standpoint and say, okay, well, on Monday, I got a reach of 600 for that $5. On Tuesday, I got a reach of 100. And my cost per click for each of them varied dramatically. So now you could say, okay, on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I get my market is more active, at least for right now. So then if you have $25 a week, first week, 5 days, you find out at the end of Friday that your Tuesday and Thursday day work best. Well, now relaunch the winning ads next Tuesday for $12.50 and relaunch it for the day. I guess it'd be for the day. And then relaunch the other $12.50 for the Thursday. And then you're going to say, okay, well, out of these 2 days, Thursday worked best. Okay, perfect. Now I can go ahead and start to put $25 in a day on Thursday if you wanted to do it that way. I would still be more leaning towards the everyday though. I would still be leaning more towards everyday because it gives Facebook now an opportunity to work its algorithm. One thing that you guys might have seen inside of your dashboards now is there's an option now for people to or for Facebook to let you know if their initial learning has been complete. So you'll see inside your ads sometimes right here where it says ad set is off, right? If we go to let's go to the top. Okay, perfect example. See how it says active? Right underneath active, it's gonna say initial learning. And then after it learns, which usually takes about 5 to 7 days, it's gonna say initial learning complete. And once you have that initial learning that's been complete, now you could look at your data. Facebook is constantly optimizing stuff. And if you only run something for a day, you're not giving Facebook the opportunity to do what it does best. So you're kind of still guessing, right? And so this is where, when we're looking at the phase 1 here, round 1 testing, round 2 testing, round 3 testing, and 4th round of testing, right? Then we have your major changes that you want to look for. And if you ever get stuck on any of these, how to set up the testing, how to get your ad sets created, what are we using to make sure that we have parallel ad sets that we know are going to have an opportunity to perform? Right? How do we do that? Well, I'd love to be able to share that with you. Obviously, we're running out of time right now, but you can feel free to come out on the next hot seat here on Winning Ad Wednesdays. Feel free to come out a week from tomorrow, right? A week from tomorrow, we have our members call. So I'd love to be able to dive in it and go shoulder to shoulder with you so that we could actually see how is this set up for you. You got a $5 per day budget, come out. I will maximize that for you, I promise, right? You've got a $1,000 per day budget. I'll help you scale what's already working, I promise. So we're gonna be able to cover all ends of the spectrum. And what you're gonna see is that the moment you come out and we start to run through this together, your results are gonna go through the roof. That I promise you, because again, it took me years to have to learn what I'm teaching you like just today and how to be able to get these things working. And I don't want it to take you guys years, right? If you got clients right now and you need to get results right now so you can get paid, it's time to maximize this academy and start coming out on the hot seats, start coming out on the pop-up sessions, start showing up to the members calls, because I promise you we're gonna be here for you to get you set up for success. So that's a good place to end today. I appreciate you all live and anybody watching the replay. If you have any questions, I'll go ahead and stay on for another couple seconds, but I think I haven't seen too much come through. Looking good. Appreciate you, JL, for coming on. Everybody who is live, really do appreciate you. And make sure that we end up seeing you a week from tomorrow on the members call. Any questions, reach out to me in the group. Kick ass the rest of the day, and I'll see you guys next week.